Real-time data has now become the backbone of modern applications, whether it is transactional logs, analytics, user events, or IoT signals. But ingesting and managing that data across multiple systems is still challenging for many teams. And that is exactly where Vultr Manage Apache Kafka Connect comes into play. It acts as a glue between your data sources and Apache Kafka, simplifying how data is ingested, processed, and distributed at scale. Hello everyone, I'm Sanskriti Harmuk, a developer relations at Vultr, and in today's Tech Talk, we are going to learn how Vultr Manage Apache Kafka Connect makes it easier to stream real-time data into Kafka topics. We'll also break down how it works, walk through its key components, dive into real-world use cases, highlight benefits, and wrap it all up with a step-by-step demo to see Vultr Manage Apache Kafka Connect in action. So, without any further ado, let's jump right in. Kafka Connect is a scalable and reliable tool designed to move the data in and out of Apache Kafka with minimal effort. With Vultr Manage Apache Kafka Connect, you don't have to handle orchestration, deployment, or scaling by yourself. It supports real-time ingestion from a variety of sources including databases, queues, logs, cloud storage, and pushes that data into Kafka topics. It also integrates easily with external systems through a wide range of built-in and third-party connectors, giving you the full flexibility to scale based on your workload. Now, let's quickly understand how Kafka Connect is structured under the hood. Connectors are the core, as they define how the data is pulled in or pushed out. We have source connectors for ingesting the data into Vultr Managed Apache Kafka and sync connectors to push the data from Vultr Managed Apache Kafka to external systems. Connectors can run multiple tasks to parallelize or scale processing. Workers handle the actual execution of those tasks either in a standalone mode or distributed clusters. Converters, on the other hand, translate the data formats like Avro, JSON, Protobuf so it fits your system. Transformers, on the other hand, allow lightweight modifications to data midstream. All these components work together to make data movement smooth, modular, and scalable. Kafka Connect fits into a wide range of real world scenarios. A few common ones are streaming changes from relational databases directly into Kafka in real time, ingesting app telemetry or event log from edge systems, syncing Kafka topics with cloud storage or indexing tools like Elasticsearch, or setting up centralized log aggregation across services for easy monitoring and analysis. It is especially useful in microservices and data-driven platform where data consistency and flow matters a lot. Let's go over some key benefits provided by Kafka Connect. Connectors scale horizontally across tasks and workers so your data pipelines can grow with your workloads. It also supports seamless integration with Kafka Schema Registry to enforce data integrity. You also get native compatibility with tools like KSQLDB, Kafka Streams, and monitoring systems, making end-to-end processing simpler. It also manages format conversions and applies transformations on the fly. And with centralized configuration management, updates and audits become much more streamlined. Now that we know how Kafka Connect works, it's time to see Vultr Manage Apache Kafka Connect in action and the value it brings to real-time data pipelines. Up next, we have a demo where Humphrey will walk us through the process of creating and configuring source connector, followed by creating and configuring sync connector. He will also demonstrate how to integrate an existing HTTP application or Vultr object storage with sync connector.
Hello there. Welcome to this demo. My name is Humphrey Pyre and I'll be your host for this demo process. In this demo, we shall dive deep into how you can actually use connectors to ingest content and data in your applications. As discussed by Sanskriti earlier, Kafka Connect supports two types of major connectors, source and sync connectors. Source connectors push data to Kafka topics, while sync connectors actually pull data to services such as Vultr object storage for further processing. And in this demo, we shall take a look at source connectors. And in particular, we shall use a MySQL source connector to push data from a relational database and consume data from the Kafka topic using our React application. So right in the Vultr customer portal, I already have access to my existing Vultr managed Apache Kafka cluster. You can see that I have the Kafka Connect page right here, but if you like to access Kafka Connect, either upgrade your plan or while deploying your Apache Kafka cluster, make sure that you select a business plan such as this with 600 GB. So when you select it, you will see that the selected plan will change to business. So only business plans have access to Kafka Connect. So for now, what we're going to do, right on this available connectors page, let's just scroll and let's select the connector type ruled one. So we are interested in source connectors and this is what's available there. So right now we are going to use JDBC, but if you like even more features, consider using the Debizium for MySQL. So let's just click add connector to actually go ahead and access a new page. And you can see that we have some config.json details right here that are default. So to replace these values, let me remove all those and paste in my custom values I have right here. So right in here, you can see that we have some very common directive that we can replace with our own values. You can see that connection password relates to my MySQL database right here that actually has a database that we're going to use, which is called Travelers. So we shall use this database to actually push any new records from this database to a Kafka topic, and our application will actually consume data from the Kafka topic and display it in a front-end interface in real time. So right on the overview tab, let's just go ahead and select this database, copy the MySQL URL in order to use it in its full form. And you can see that the connection password matches the hidden password right here. And right in connection URL, let's just paste in our copied URL right here. So you can see that we have SSL mode turned on, and we are using the user Vultr admin, which is the default for most Vultr managed databases. So right in this table, we have the table called passengers. We are focusing on this table, and all latest data in this table will be pushed to our Kafka topic at the same time a change is actually applied. So let's specify the target topic. Let's, for instance, call that topic route, and let's use its full form right here when specifying the topic. So let's call it route passengers. So you can see in this topic name, it combines the topic itself and the target table name to create a single topic name that we can actually use. So in the name, let's just call this TikTok connector. And now let's click add connector to actually add this. So just give this validation process a little bit, and you can see that our connector is successful because our details are quite valid. So we can move forward and actually get to use this connector. So right on this active connectors page, you can see that our new connector is right here. However, our topic is route passengers and we do not have it on this particular cluster. You can see that the topics are empty, and if we click add new topic, paste in our topic name and click add topic. Just like that, we have created our very first topic, and right now MySQL can push data to this topic each time a new change is detected. So to actually test that, I have this front end React app. The back end is disconnected because we'll have to investigate on the code, and it's running on port 3000, whereas the front end is on 3001. So to actually get started, let me get right into my terminal session and we discover the logic of this particular React app and how we are going to use it to actually ingest data from the Kafka topics to this particular application. So right in my terminal session right here, you can see that if I list files, I have this very simple project directory, and there is a file called server.js, whereas package.json includes all dependency packages for this particular project. So if we open this file, server.js, and just navigate to the most important section right here. So you can see that brokers, which is the URL for the Kafka broker, in this case, the Vultr managed Apache Kafka cluster, you can see that the URL, I've already added it here with the appropriate port, which is the SSL port. So we are using SSL for this connection because SSL allows us to actually use the username and password details. And right in here, we have the target topic, which is route passengers. So this very configuration matches with our connector and topics that we have actually created in the Vultr customer portal. Now let me just go ahead and close this, and let's start the backend server. So you can see that even without checking it out, it has finally connected. So right now we have started our backend server, and let's go ahead and also start our front-end server, which contains the logic for app.js. So let's run npm start, and now let's just give this a second to define the port on which it will actually run. So let's select yes to use port 3001 instead of 3000. You can see I have these URLs that I can actually use to access my front end app. So right in this page, let me just refresh. You can see the status is now connected and the back end also works great. So let's go into the process and actually see how our connector is actually working. So right in the Vultr Managed Databases for MySQL page, let's copy the connection string back to our terminal, and I'll connect to this database. If we check the databases right here, and you see we have travelers, and let's use travelers here, and let's show the tables that are in here. So you can see that we have passengers, but let's just see if we have some data here. So you can see that this table is actually empty, and it's about time we actually put our connector into good use. So before we do that, let's first check if our connector is in good standing. So just on Kafka Connect, click connector status. So you can see that the connector state is running and it already has a task. So that means we are good to go and ready to test out this connector right here. So right in my React app, it's where we shall actually see the actual output. We shall be entering into our Kafka topic that will be consumed by this app. So if I minimize this terminal a little bit like this, now that we have managed to minimize this terminal, and you can see that our table is empty, as you can see in this particular output, let's go ahead and add some data and verify if it's processed in real time from our Kafka topic to this particular React application. So I have some demo values right here that fit the table format for this table. So I add John Doe and Jen Doe. So let's just see if the values come here. If we just go to the back end tab, you can see that these values are here. And to the front end, you can see that we have some new users right here. So let's actually go a step further and even add more details. So this time around, let's add a Sam Smith and Jen Smith. You will see that the data will be added here. So you can see that it's added in real time. But we're adding this data to the Vultr Managed Databases for MySQL cluster, which is right here. And this data is being pushed by the connector, which is TechTalk connector. And it's pushed to this particular topic, which is route passengers. And what happens is that my application is consuming this route passengers topic and publishing this data on my front end. So what happens is that you can see that all data is available in real time, and you can even perform search or even modify the data depending on your application logic. So just to wrap things up, let's add one final record right here. So let's just insert another record to just verify that indeed our connector works. So if we insert this, you can see that our latest record is greetings from Vultr and demo user. And so just like that, we have used Kafka Connect to create a connector that pulls data from our Vultr Managed Databases for MySQL cluster right here with the Travelers database and pushed the data using this Kafka connector called TechTalk connector just for purposes of this TechTalk, and it's pushing the data to this topic right here that is being consumed by our React application, which allows us to perform more functionalities and ensure that our applications actually perform faster.
And that's a wrap. Today we explored how Vultr manage Apache Kafka Connect simplifies real-time data ingestion and how it takes operational burden off your shoulder with its built-in scalability, rich connector support, and easy configuration management. If you would like to implement this setup, you can get started by provisioning a Vultr managed Apache Kafka cluster, enabling Kafka Connect, and adding your first connector all from a single interface. Thank you so much for joining this Tech Talk. We hope this session gave you a clear picture of how to build real time data pipelines using Vultr. In case of any queries, feel free to reach out to us. We are always happy to get you started.